going to talk about the recent improvement in the CodeVM, which is the Faro VM. And I'm going to talk mostly about the Spur Memory Manager. So the Spur Memory Manager is a new memory manager that was implemented for the CodeVM, and we have now an alpha image that is used by Esteban and me, and that we can use to program in Faro. So there are 7 main advantages of using the new memory manager. This talk is not a technical talk, so I will not go into technical details, but I will just explain what you will change for Smalltalk developers. So the first thing is the faster become. So most of you probably knows what is the become primitive in Smalltalk. It allows you to exchange a pointer identity to object. The old implementation of become was quite slow because it needed to scan the whole heap. So if you had a large image, it could you could see like a pauses of several seconds. The new implementation is really quick with very little pause, and basically it works with forwarding pointers. So when you exchange the identity between objects, some pointers are rewritten in a way that they forward to another memory location, and that's implemented in the way that it does not slow down the rest of the virtual machine. Another thing is the new support for fmruns. So fmruns, you can check up on the web what it is exactly, but that's basically a weak structure for object, and having fmruns will allow us to improve weak structure, which allows to, for example, to have more caches and stuff like that without having memory leaks. The next thing is pinned object. So with the new memory manager, you can mark an object so it will not move in memory. So for Smalltalk developer, perhaps you do not see why would you want to do that, but it's very useful when you do foreign function interface. So basically when you call C-code or things like that, so you can have a memory location that does not move that you can use freely. The next thing is that now the memory is segmented. So in the past, well, currently, the problem is that when you start the virtual machine, it asks the operating system a huge portion of memory that should be contiguous. So for example, 500 megabytes in Windows. So that's a problem because you have to reserve this portion of memory. And in addition, the other problem is that when your image grows up to 500 megabytes, you have an error out of memory. And then you need to restart your virtual machine with another settings or perhaps even recompile it. That's awful. So now the heap is chopped into pieces, and basically the memory allocated in the operating system dynamically grows and shrinks. And yeah, so now there is no more out of memory error except if you reach if the RAM of your computer is full. The next thing is that with this memory manager, the object format is 64-bit compatible. So that does not mean that we have a 64-bit VM, but it's the first step towards 64-bit VM. And one of the most important points of this memory manager is a new garbage collector, which is much more efficient. So one thing is that now the new garbage collector is incremental, which means that his task is split in several subtasks. So that allows to avoid big user pause because you do not need to do the full GC at once, but you can do part of the GC, then execute the user code, and then part of the GC, execute user code, and this allows to avoid massive pauses. Another thing is that the new garbage collector is much more efficient than the previous one. It's just because I mean it's a state-of-the-art garbage collector, and it's not an old garbage collector from the 90s. So the last thing is the performance improvement. So basically with all the different changes, so I didn't talk, but there is also several changes in the internals of the VM that allows basically to have a Faro which is around twice faster running with a virtual machine using the new memory manager. So the speed up is relative. We saw that in most cases it's at least a factor 2. In some cases, I think Stefan Egermont reported case where the speed up was better. so it depends on you. The main performance comes from the faster GC, but there are other things in the performance. So as I said, right now it's an alpha version. I think it's used only by Esteban and me. So very alpha, yeah. So there is a few issues like there is a few things that are not implemented yet, so that's why it's not open to everyone. So I put integration in because as it was said in the first talk, we will release 404 either in March or either in July. So if the release is in July, there will be a Spore 32-bit. If it's in March, most probably not.
No. In fact, that's what we want to discuss with you. If we want a 504 with a Spore, or you can wait until 505.
So
And then 504 will come in July.
So that's why we don't know. So about 64 bits. So I added that slides because I know that everyone will ask the question. So basically we saw that with the new memory manager, the memory is 64-bit compatible. So in addition, now Elliot implemented an offline converter that converts the image from 32-bit to 64-bit. And this image can run on a 64-bit VM, which is interpreter based, so there is no JIT. On Linux only for now. And basically the main difference between the 32-bit and 64-bit version is that 64-bit allows to have a faster floating pointer arithmetics. So the interpreter VM works on Linux in 64-bit, but there is still the JIT compiler to port, the foreign function interface, so there still can some work before a better release. Another improvement that happens recently, mostly thanks to Jean-Baptiste, which is right there, is the ARM improvement. So in the past few months, I think Douglas McPherson and Jean-Baptiste implemented the foreign function interface on ARM, which allows you to do FFI call on the Raspberry Pi, probably on Android. So we have a virtual machine running on ARM v6 and ARM v7. And basically, if you have a problem with your ARM VM, there is an official maintainer now in the Faro community, which is named Jean-Baptiste, so you can just ask him.
You should put his mail there.
Yeah, it is mail. I'm sorry, Jean-Baptiste.
Phone number.
And
Is he working with Tim Rolich?
sorry, I can't hear you.
Is Jean-Baptiste working with Tim Rolich on the farm?
In fact, Tim Rolich doing the cog JIT, and I am not on the part of this project.
Okay.
But he pushed in after the stack VM, and in fact he included all the work that has been done on stack VM, and after push on the cog VM.
And the last thing is, with Elliot Miranda, we are adding a new bytecode set in Faro. So it's the same thing. If the release is in July, it will probably be in the release, else it will not. And the main difference is that this bytecode set allows you to generate easily Smalltalk source code or bytecodes. So the problem right now is that if you write a code generator that generates a Smalltalk source code, you will probably encounter that there is compilation limits. So there are things that you do not know, but when you write, for example, if true, if false, you can write a limited number of instructions in each branch. So usually for regular Smalltalk code, you do not reach those limits. But when you write code generator generating Smalltalk code, you reach them very quickly. So there will be a new bytecode set to so you can be able to do that. Yeah, that's it. Most of it.
When we move to 64-bit, we get the floats going to be directly into the object.
Yes, so that's what I meant by fast floating pointer arithmetics in 64-bit.
Yeah. I have a question is, in the float plugin, you use VMlib for doing the industrial cosinus and so on. Is this going to be something you have to rewrite, or this lib will still function?
So this library is currently rewritten, and basically there is two cases. So the immediate floating pointer format supports only a subset, so a smaller range of the double that the CPU supports. And now there is, for each primitive, basically there is two primitives, one for the immediate floating pointers and one for the other one.
So this is, there's right of this.
Yeah. But that's being done. It's supposed to work right now.
It's quite a thing.
For the immediate object, we will have what in the
So,
just in the sphere we have what we have.
so in Spore 32, in addition to immediate small integer, we have immediate character, and in Spore 64, in addition, there is immediate floating pointer. Yeah, so that's it.
So it's cool. I want to use it. 32-bit mode is okay for me. What do I do? And what can I expect? I mean, I can use this in day-to-day stuff. I'm a researcher. I don't care if it crashes. It's okay. I can live with that. Is it going to crash every 5 minutes or is it going to crash every 5 days? Every 5
You have
seconds.
something that, no, you don't have here and you do not have anything not to push through it.
Yeah.
All the rest works.
And it's stable.
Yes.
I want it.
You need to be there to this on the CI builder.
It's
It's failing since 1 month, but
Oh,
you go to the latest version spool.
You can take the last successful
Yeah,
artifact,
but
it works.
native boost does not work there. So this means that you don't have any UI.
No, you don't have
Have
Python. You don't have Python.
You don't have Cairo.
okay, I don't want it anymore.
So you have UI but you don't have Athens, for example. So ping Igor, you know.
But I have been using it for several days and it has never crashed, so I think it's good.
You're using it without the UI.
No, there is a UI, but for example, there is no racial visualization.
Yeah, okay. But yes, when do we plan to have people testing this the stability of that?
Honestly, I was expecting to have it now, but since I lived two vacations and in the middle, Elliot did like 30 new commits that broken all my integration process, and then, okay, probably next week or the other.
Okay, that's good.
It's my right now it's my priority to have a school version working.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm working
There
full
is
time on that.
What's your question?
So the Spur memory manager changes the limits on the maximum heap size, right? Can you say something about that?
Yeah. So by default, when you start the VM with the Spore memory manager, there is no limit, and there is an out of memory error when your RAM is full. So in 32-bit, you can go up to a 3 GB image because of the 32-bit limitation.
Sorry, I didn't understand. How many gigabyte?
So in 32-bit, you're supposed to be able to address only 2 GB of
2
memory,
gigabyte.
but there's a trick that allows us to address 3 GB of memory. So with Spore 32-bit, you can have an image up to 3 GB.
And you have tried that and it works?
Yes.
Yes.
I have it running
Yeah.
some most stuff without graphics, and yeah, it crashed it, but it didn't crash it, blocked it at 2.8 gig.
So that's about double than what we have today, I think. Today it's like
Probably.
one and a bit, 1
Yeah.
gigabyte.
Yeah, or it's the
But it's more like
In fact, it's a lot more because
getting
today more
to
than
stress
50
the
megas.
operating system.
Sorry?
I mean, you're reaching the limits of operating system, what she can do for you in 32-bit address mode. So, I mean, the question is whether the operating system allow you to get so much address space. Because it depends what platform you're on.
Today you cannot go over.
Yes, but the problem is that today with more than 50 megas, the garbage collectors starts to take a lot of kind of peanuts on that. So the differences were in my test with 2.7 gigas running, the responsiveness was perfect, like in a 35 mega image.
That's
That was the real difference. It's not
Right.
that you cannot reach more now. It's that more than 50 megas is 500 megas. Sorry, is not good.
Mm.
With